So I was looking at this interview with the governor of California, and he seems pretty excited that LA is burning down.
Over the course of the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative moving quickly, doing it in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those three iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
So he said that he want to build LA 2.0. So when you look into this LA 2.0, you see a whole lot of articles talking about this smart city 2028, which states smart LA 2028 is a plan by the city of Los Angeles to transform the city into a highly digital and connected environment by the year 2028. And then you have article like this: how LA plans to become a smarter city by 2028 Olympics. So as you scroll down, they talks about how they want the smart city to be and what they are working on. The city was set to host the 2028 Summer Olympics, release a smart city blueprint. So when you click on the link, you get this right here that explains the smart city and how everything is going to, I guess, work and come upon. And they were discussing this ever since 2020. I will try to leave a link in the description so you guys can check it out and read all this for yourself. So, can this be one of the reasons why they want to burn down LA to usher in the so-called digital age where everything would be digital? And LA is like the start of what they want the world to be like, including currency. Because if everything is digital, you can easily control everyone. because you don't have to come to the person's house to shut this off or shut that off. You can just do everything remotely on a computer. If you get out of line, shut off your money. Then you have no money. Kind of like a situation that happened in Australia. Like this situation. Sky News Australia, Queensland. Let's click on it.
More than 8,000 Queensland householders had the cooling function on their air conditioner turned off. Not by them, but remotely, by their electricity supplier, Energex, and it happened on a sweltering Sunday earlier this month. And this was the 5th time this Big Brother-style intervention had happened this year. Once you allow your energy supplier to fit a digital meter to your electricity box, they are in control. What was it the Borg used to say? Resistance is futile. They can remotely turn off part or all of the electricity being fed into your house. Look, Will, how sinister is this? I mean, what they do is they come along and say, we've got this better electricity meter, it will save you money, and we'll give you a special discount of $400. Can we install it? I think we should say no.
I think you're looking at the wrong source of evil. I don't think this is the fault of the energy company. The fact is there's not enough energy to go around in Queensland and there's not enough to go around in Australia. We have governments that are going all in on renewables without the large-scale battery storage to be able to actually do it, and there is not enough energy for Energex to go around. So it's either that or large, wide-scale blackouts. I don't see what else they can possibly do here. The issue is government policy. The issue is still suicidal net zero. And unfortunately, the private sector has been compromised as a result.
But we're still giving people outside our house the power to control our house. And
Exactly.
even though you're right, the rest of the background, everything that you said is perfectly correct. We're not going to have enough power in the system, and it's not going to come at the right times because we're not getting dispatchable power. Despite all of that, we can't give in to this kind of control.
So my understanding is they signed up for an energy rebate, and I think you get about $400 off if
Yes.
you choose to put this in. So
That's the sales pitch.
but as long as they know what they're signing up for, and I don't know how well this was communicated, it could have been very dodgy on the energy company's part. I'm not sure.
No,
if they knew what they were signing up for, then I say, buyer beware.
I think this is a really good lesson in why precedent is so important. And I harp on about this all the time. But I look back at COVID, for example. I'm not going to really press on that. But some of the legislation that was used to enact these draconian measures and arbitrary laws was enacted in Australian legislation. There was some in 1956. In New South Wales, it was 2010. And it was only being used in, decade later. And so this is such an important lesson in why precedent matters. Because you might think, it's, the difference between analog and digital, who cares? But you're right, Kel, there is a precedent that we act, unfortunately, because of what history shows, particularly with big government, is that they take far easier than they give back, and big governments continue to grow until there's a revolution against them. You can vote your way into tyranny, unfortunately, but you have to fight your way out of it. So precedent is so important and I hate that we have to look at these things, but when you are signing over these things, we should be using a lot of discernment and a lot of wisdom and go, how could this be used against me and my family in the future? And it's sad that we live in a first world nation and we have to think this way, but I think that we do. And I think the first thing Australians also need to stop saying is that we're a first world nation. I mean, what makes a first world country a first world? You have power, you have electricity, you have comforts.
Yeah,
you don't just have necessities. You have
all going in the wrong direction because we're not going to have dispatchable power under this, wind plus solar plus batteries.
Well, that's exactly my point. We're not a first world nation.
But at the same time, I don't want to sign a deal in which someone sitting in an office somewhere else says, tonight we'll turn off the fridge.
Then don't sign it.
Tonight we'll turn off the TV.
Then don't sign it.
Well, I'm not going to. I'm wondering whether too many of the difficult details are in small print at the bottom of the page.
Well, I think
we've all signed insurance policies. We know that.
And I think that that may be fair. That may be fair. I think that the bigger point here is there is a political opportunity for the Conservative governments of Australia to say this sort of thing isn't about greedy corporates, which is what Labor is doing at the moment. It is about energy policy. And at the moment, I haven't heard the response from the state government there to say that this is an energy policy issue, not a greedy corporate issue. But we need to start having that conversation, to start winning hearts and minds, to say that net zero is suicide, and this sort of stuff is going to happen more and more unless we change course on policy.
Well, let's talk about the size of your power bill, because if you're a bit worried about the size of your power bills, then Australia's Competition and Consumer Commission say, welcome to the club. Welcome on board. Nice to have you as one of the members who's got a problem. The power price shock, the ACC warns that households are paying too much. Most of us are doing that kind of thing. We are missing out. They're saying most of us are in the wrong sort of deals. So there were reductions in the wholesale price of electricity in 2024. Many of us didn't get them because we're stuck in...
Moral of the story is everything is easier to control when it's digital.